Good morning, traders. This is Michael coming to you from GammaEdge on Tuesday, December 10th with our pre-market morning strategy and briefing session. As always, we start with three pillars here at GammaEdge: sentiment, structure, and trend, starting with the market trend model. We continue to see weakness in the CT, which is our bolded white line. That is our intraday overall indicator. Obviously, the railroad tracks are down also. So again, intraday weakness continues from our failure above the ribbon, and the ribbons are now changing towards a more negative slope. Red still below cyan, so for our long-term look, we are still in a bearish state also. So we need to see this quickly recover. We need to see the bolded CT recover those railroad tracks fairly quickly if we want to start moving back up towards the colored ribbon, and then look for some sort of move of the red above cyan. So we'll continue to watch this day over day. We talked about the failure on the 6th, and then what we're looking for downside if we were going to have extended pullback in the overall market. And we continue to see that. And yesterday was a pullback, and the CT was in confluence with price action. Moving on to the SPXP, this is all expiries turned on. Put dominated now above and below spot price, so that is a state change that we continue to watch and be cognizant of. 6100 continues to be peak X and COI. And then we see INGEX down here at 6025. That is the bottom of the drunken sailor range, which we'll discuss on the 0 DTE. Transitions unambiguous there at 6070, 6075. It seems that we have a multiple confluence and stacking of strikes and levels around that 60, 70, 60, 75. So we'll be watching that today and be very aware of that. And then down towards the bottom there, 60.45, and then we have 60.25. So we'll continue to watch this day over day. Looking at the GEX ratio, we've been discussing this last week, multiple days. If you go back and listen to our pre-market morning strategy and briefing session, we had price continuing higher, but we had the GEX ratio continuing to drop. So understanding what that means in the overall context, short-dated calls were being removed as price continued to move higher. We said this would resolve one of two ways: that spot price would continue higher, and we'd see a rebound in the GEX ratio, which would be an increase or a opening of those short-dated calls, which would help with the overall ratio, or we'd see those OTM calls continue to degrade, and then the puts would become dominant, and that obviously would take over the ratio, and we continue to see the ratio drop. And then obviously we'd see a confluence of price drop also. So that's what we saw yesterday, and we continue to see the GEX ratio drop. So this tells us that short-dated calls are not going into the overall complex, and the puts are now dominating the ratio. This could just be some short-term weakness, and we could see this turn back up. We're still above 1 of the overall ratio, so that still means that we are looking for opportunistic moves back to the upside, but just in the overall short term, we're looking for weakness and a pullback within the overall price, and then a resolution of the GEX ratio. The delta balance now is negative overall, so telling us again that those OTM call speculators are not present. The puts continue to take control, so in the money puts above spot price, and now OTM puts below spot price are continuing to exert their forces within the overall sentiment and structure. Again, we'll monitor this day over day. The delta balance on out in time is projecting that this is just a short-term weakness event, so we'll continue to watch this day over day. Basically into next Tuesday, we are still put dominated, and then we do see some sort of recovery. So we'll watch this again to see for any changes day over day. SPX P net stack command. This shows you the delta balance is put dominated with the right-hand plane strike 60-60. That's where the significant strike of in the money puts are. We talked about that kind of yesterday, where that stalling price action most likely would be rejected, and that's where we saw that rejection yesterday, actually around 60-70. To the downside, 60-25, that's the bottom of the drunken sailor range. Again, OTM puts down towards those levels, so we'll watch those levels if we approach that within the trading day today. Qs are still call dominated above and below spot price. In the money calls at 515, OTM calls at 526, so that gives us our goalpost there. We'll continue to watch this again day over day, as obviously the Mag 7 was within the overall Qs, and most of the time as the overall Mag 7 goes, and the market will follow also. So we'll watch this to see if this maintains this bullish look on the net stack command. or if we do see some OTM called degradation, and then exposing some of those IT inputs above and exerting some downward force on the overall sentiment and structure in the cues. 0 DTE, we are put dominated above below spot price. Narrow transition, as we already discussed, 60, 70, 60, 75. That'll be the hurdle to get over if we want to see any more price appreciation today. PGEX there at 60, 75. And then we have NGEX and POI down at 60, 25. Bottom of the drunken sailor range denoted by the yellow box here. Within the overall drunken sailor range, obviously expect a little bit higher volatility and choppiness back and forth. Up towards the bottom of that GEX and DEX transition areas at 60-60 and then 60-70. So we'll watch that today. If we're in the overall drunken sailor range, just remember that 0 DTE can be exerting their forces and push us around pretty viciously back and forth. So that's what we'll watch. Obviously, watching the vol M command intraday, the direction of the call and put centroids gives us a vision of where the market participants are positioning with the overall strikes and the volume. The +1 DTE, we see the transition expand significantly. Obviously, this is that uncertainness heading into the next day. We see PGEX up there at 61.30, which expands to the upside, but we also see the NGEX expand to the downside, which is 6,000. So that overall transition expansion that we talk about, the uncertainty in the overall market. So if the overall market is uncertain, then we should probably just dial back our risk and be cautious heading into the trading day. Let's go ahead and go into our thesis for today. So SPXP, this is pre-market here. SPX, this is pre-market here where the projected open is at 60-60. Really watching this kind of 60-62. This is kind of a pre-market high area. And then obviously 60-70 and 60-75 to the upside. We have 0 GEX, N-trans, P-trans on all expiries up there, and then the top of the drunken sailor range. If we get below 60-50 and stay there for a significant amount of time, and we see the vol M command with the centroids pointing down, I'd anticipate us to head down towards this 60-30, 60-40 level. And then we see the bottom of the drunken sailor range down around 60-25. These gray boxes are just significant other gamma delta levels that I'm watching, as well as price action and TA analysis. So I just like to draw those on there for visual reference for the overall trading day. So at the very least, we need to get above the pre-market highs here around 60, 61, 60, 62, and then see some sort of vol M command with positive centroids, and then need to see the overall CT turn back up for us to head back up towards this 60-70, 60-75. I would not get too bullish unless we get over 60-70 and 60-75. I'd probably maintain my overall choppiness, a little bit higher volatility, and the kind of leaning towards the bearish look if we stay below these levels here at 0 GEX and P-trans. But remember, we're overall within the overall drunken sailor range. So, all right, that's all I have for this morning. P-trans to PGEX, TC3 plus is off, so we're not entering any positions there unless we see a significant recovery on the CT heading into tomorrow. Most likely TC3 will be off tomorrow also. So, all right, everybody make it a great day. I'll be in the Discord in just a few minutes. Make sure you check out the SPX game plan, single stock game plan, and the market trend model game plan to get your pre-market prep done. Thanks.